The bomb attached to Soros's car suggests premeditation.
We need to start with the evidence we have.
The question is, who could have had such a strong motive?
Detective Sharon and Detective Javed sat in their dimly lit office, the smell of freshly brewed coffee lingering in the air. The news of the murder of a prominent businessman, Mr. Soros, had been the talk of the town. They were tasked with solving the mystery, and their first lead pointed towards a sinister motive, someone eyeing his wealth. Detective Sharon, a seasoned investigator, leaned back in his chair and looked at Detective Javed.
This is no ordinary case, Javed. A man of Soros's stature doesn't just get killed without reason. We need to start with the evidence we have.
Javed nodded in agreement, his sharp mind already in motion.
The bomb attached to Soros's car suggests premeditation. The question is, who could have had such a strong motive?
Let's start by interviewing the witnesses. We know that John, Soros's servant, saw someone near the car. It was Soros's cousin, Jacob. We need to talk to John and get more information.
They wasted no time. Javed went to Soros's mansion to question John. The middle-aged butler seemed shaken, but he recounted the events of the evening.
I was in the kitchen when I heard a noise outside. I looked out the window and saw Jacob near Mr. Soros's car. He was acting suspiciously.
Detective Javed scribbled down notes in his notepad.
Did you see anything else, John? Did Jacob leave anything behind or say anything?
No, sir. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he looked very agitated. After a while, he walked away, and then the explosion happened the following day when Mr. Soros drove the car.
Javed reported what he learned to Sharon. Sharon pondered for a moment.
We need to talk to Jacob. But first, let's gather more information. Start by obtaining Jacob's financial records, bank accounts, and any recent transactions. I want to know if he's been in any financial trouble.
Of course, I'll also check his phone records and messages to see if there were any recent exchanges that could provide a motive for murder.
Sharon couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to this case than met the eye.
Keep an eye on the media and public reactions, Javed. We don't want this case to get cold. We must work swiftly and discreetly.
The investigation into the murder of Mr. Soros had just begun, and they were determined to unravel the mystery behind the bomb that had taken the life of the wealthy businessman. The following day.
Javed, take a look at this. We've obtained Jacob's financial records, and it shows a transfer of $50,000 to his bank account shortly after Mr. Soros's murder.
This is highly suspicious. We need to find out the source of this money and why it was sent to Jacob. It might just be the motive we were looking for.
Their next lead took them to the bank, where they traced the source of the transferred funds. It turned out to be a joint account held by Mr. Soros and his wife, Sarah. Sharon and Javed looked at each other, exchanging concerned glances. With the new evidence in hand, they went to Mr. Soros's mansion to confront Sarah about the money transfer. She was a striking woman, 20 years younger than her late husband, and her demeanor was tense as they questioned her.
Sir, we have evidence of a $50,000 transfer to Jacob's account shortly after your husband's murder. Can you explain this?
I can explain. Jacob was in financial trouble, and my husband was helping him. He asked for the money to start a new business. My husband wanted to keep it a secret, but I didn't want him to bear the burden alone.
Sarah, we need to verify this. Where is Jacob now?
Sarah hesitated before revealing Jacob's whereabouts.
He's in a small apartment in the city. I can take you there.
As they drove to the apartment, the detective's suspicions grew. The puzzle pieces were falling into place, and it appeared that the motives behind the murder might involve a complex web of financial troubles and hidden secrets. When they arrived at Jacob's apartment, they found him anxiously pacing back and forth. The detectives confronted him about the money transfer and his connection to the murder of his cousin, Mr. Soros. Jacob's eyes welled up with tears as he confessed.
I needed the money for my debts, but I didn't want to kill him. It was an accident. I didn't know the bomb would go off when he drove the car.
The investigation into the murder of Mr. Soros took another unexpected twist as Detective Sharon and Detective Javed uncovered a web of deceit and betrayal within the wealthy family. As they continued to question Jacob and gather more information, it became evident that Jacob had indeed asked Mr. Soros for money to alleviate his financial troubles. However, it was Mr. Soros who had requested his wife, Sarah, to transfer the funds. Sharon and Javed decided to have another conversation with Sarah to dig deeper into her relationship with Jacob and the money transfer. She had been a key figure in this tangled narrative, and they needed to understand her involvement.
Sarah, we've learned that it was your husband, Mr. Soros, who asked you to transfer the money to Jacob. Can you tell us more about this?
It's true. Jacob is my cousin, and he was in dire financial straits. He turned to my husband for help, but my husband wanted to keep it confidential. He asked me to transfer the money on his behalf.
Their suspicions were still not fully allayed, and the detectives decided to explore further. They obtained Sarah's phone records and messages. What they found was shocking. There were numerous messages exchanged between Sarah and a young man named Samson. The contents of these messages were revealing, and it seemed that Sarah had a romantic relationship with Samson. Sharon presented the evidence to Sarah, her face paling as she realized the extent of what they had uncovered.
Sarah, it appears that you had a relationship with this man, Samson. He promised to provide another $50,000 to Jacob, with the intention of planting the bomb in your husband's car, so that the entire wealth of Mr. Soros would fall into your hands. Is that true?
Sarah broke down in tears, her secret exposed.
I didn't want my husband to find out about Samson, and I thought this was a way to secure a better future for us. But I never wanted anyone to get hurt.
The detectives arrested Sarah and tracked down Samson, who confessed to his involvement in the sinister plot. The web of deceit had entangled them all, leading to the tragic death of Mr. Soros. In the end, justice was served, but the case left Detective Sharon and Detective Javed with a profound sense of the darkness that could lurk behind even the most affluent facades. The murder of the wealthy businessman had been solved, but the scars of betrayal and greed would forever haunt those involved in this tangled tale of wealth, love, and treachery.